Hello, friends.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today on this cozy, cold day in LA.
Yes, it is super chilly. It was like 34 degrees this morning out here, which is not normal.
And we're sitting here complaining, and people are in snow that's
I'm
like 0
sorry.
degrees. I know. I'm sorry too.
I'm feeling you. I'm wearing a beanie in your honor.
And I have on a turtleneck and a sweater. Thank you guys so much. I know I'm pitiful. But we have an extraordinary guest for you today.
Yes, we have Wally Wingert, who is you guys would know him as the Psycho Blue, but he has a plethora of roles that he's done in his voiceover career, from the Riddler to Ant-Man. I mean, it goes on and on. Family Guy, it goes on and on and on. So we are so honored to have him with us as our guest today. Welcome, Wally.
Oh, hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Sorry, caught me unawares there. How are you? Hello, everybody. I've got my hoodie on, my comfy hoodie on as well. My Palm Springs hoodie, which that's where I wish I was right now. Of course, Palm Springs is about as cold as it is here in LA, so it gets cold there too. But I just want to go somewhere where it's summer all the time, because I'm a summer guy, and I'm not. I know you guys look very cute in the sweaters and the hats and the beanies and everything, but I'm a hot weather guy. It's got to be 103, and dry, and that's
me. That's me. I sit with an electric blanket. I have a floor heater over here. If it didn't make so much noise, I would have it on right now.
Oh, turn it on. What the heck? It's not going to make any more noise than this thing will. I make lots of noise. So you must love Palm Springs.
I will say I do love the heat, but when I've gone to Palm Springs, I melt it. Like, that is a different type of heat. It's almost like Arizona heat to me.
It's very dry, and I'm from South Dakota, where it's very humid in the summer, where you take a shower and you walk out, and in 2 minutes you got to shower again because
yes.
But I do love the Palm Springs. It's like 103 degrees is the perfect day if you're in the shade. It's not, there's no humidity there, so it's really quite lovely, because it's, like I said, it's a dry heat. As they always say, it is a dry heat, and it's not actually that bad. And when you get out into it, your muscles and your joints and everything just feels so good, like you're in a sauna. It's really, really kind of great. So I'm a big desert fan, but yeah, if you ladies are always cold, it seems. If you are always cold, you would probably love the desert, but not this time of year, because it's still very chilly there. But along about April, May, it gets really nice there, where it's about 98 to 100 during the day. And at night, it's about 65 degrees with all these stars in the sky. And it's heaven. It's really, really very nice. So I'll meet you guys there, and tell your husbands.
Nice talking to you.
Tell your husbands that you're going to go with some crazy long-haired desert rat guy and meet him in Palm Springs. And I'm totally harmless, so no worries. But, at least you'll be nice and cozy, warm, and you won't need the sweaters. So.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, we want to ask you a ton of questions, but we have some just about your start and so forth. Well, we've gotten some super chats that have already come in, so we're gonna go to the super chats, and then we'll offset with additional questions. So, super chat, raise them up high. This is from Black Region Art April, one of our channel members. Hey, Wally, you were one of the first people to post a photo of the Ranger face mask I drew, so thank you. Was awesome to see. You're awesome. April is an amazing artist, and so she's saying that you were one of the first to post her face masks.
Oh, her face mask. Yes,
yeah,
the ones that she makes. Oh, he's going to put it on for you, April. Maybe. Hold this phone. Hold the phone.
Hold that thought. I'll be right back after these words.
Oh, very cool.
It's just you and me. I'm so
That's awesome.
That's really great.
It's very special to me, so I barely wear it. The one that I wear all the time is this one, which always freaks people out.
That's so weird. Oh, no.
You got me.
Wow. No.
Oh,
at least you're smiling. Yeah, that's crazy. Now, yes, I've seen those on Amazon. You can put your send a picture of you, and they'll make it.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
I had one made on Amazon, and it was a little too big. It wasn't in perspective, which made it look really creepy. But this was done by an artist and done through Redbubble. And it's basically
So
that's
I saw a video on TikTok where a guy had that on, and the woman was getting very annoyed, and she's like, "Sir, please put your mask on." He's like, "I have it on." She's like, "That's not funny. Put your mask on." And he's like, "I have a mask on." And then she's like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah. No, I've almost been kicked out of places. But yeah, thanks. So April is the one that did this?
Yes.
Very cool. Because I got this as a gift from a friend of mine named Mr. Awesome. And he found this somewhere online and got it for me. So I wear this occasionally when I don't want to be recognized as this guy.
Now, did you do just the voice for Psycho Blue, or did you do the face as well?
I did only the voice.
Only the voice. Okay.
I went into a voiceover session, and they had already filmed and everything and edited it all together. And my job was just to do the voiceover. Of course, he has the helmet on, so you can basically say anything. There's no lip flap to match or anything. So it was pretty great. It was wonderful being in Orlando at Ranger Stop back in 2019 with it's me on a panel with all the face actors, the guys who are actually in the suits, pulling their muscles and using the Bengay and doing all that. And I'm in a cozy voiceover studio just laughing. So they're like, okay, one by one on the panel there, do you have any great injury stories? And I'm like, I hit my knee on the mic stand once. That was my injury. Everybody else was like, oh yeah, I went to a kick and I pulled a muscle. I was out for 2 days. They had the whole film. All these crazy stories about being on the set. I ripped my tendon. I ripped my and I'm like, yeah, was my stomach growled because I didn't have a bag of chips handy at the voiceover session. Okay. So that was my big injury story. Yeah, I banged my knee on the mic stand. Oh, I'm down for the count. So it was pretty funny.
But you worked a lot with Scott Page.
Scott Page, I love Scott Page Packer. Yeah, he's a great guy. Love him dearly, and worked a lot also on not only on that, but also at Mattel doing voices when he worked at Mattel. So yeah.
Yes, you're aware that he passed away.
I am not.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Last week.
Was it last week or the week before last?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Oh. I'm very sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
He made a big impact on all of our lives.
Yeah.
He also brought me over to Mattel. Well, both of us. When he thought about his friends a lot. And we were on the show back in the 90s. I got on the show in 95, and he was still at Power Rangers for years after that.
Yeah.
And when he moved over to Mattel, he still kept in contact with us and was like, hey, come on over and do this. And then, I ended up booking a series through that and just doing a lot of work through Mattel. But yeah. And his wife wants people to know, because I apparently there's people posting, and I thought this was as well, that he had passed away from cancer. That is not what she wants people to know. He did not die from the cancer. It was negligence by the hospital.
Oh.
And she asked that I share that with people because it was not cancer. So that needs to be looked into a little bit more. So I just wanted to share that with you, but not to bring things down, but I didn't think that you were aware of that, because you obviously spent a lot of time with him inside of the studio just doing the voiceover. So
sure. Yeah.
So yeah.
And I had worked on other shows, I think, that he directed as well.
Okay.
So it was, that's unfortunate. He I remember he had, this is probably back in the mid to late 2000s. He had some sort of lung issue, and which was very weird because he used to be a diver. And had great lungs and everything. It's very strange. So I was like, really, that's so odd. But that's unfortunate to hear that. So I'm very sad, and condolences, of course, to his wife and family and everything. So he was a great guy, though. Good guy.
That's a great guy.
And talented, very, very talented.
Yeah. Well, he had a good eye for talent.
Yes.
Which was great. He knew how to pick them.
Yeah.
And he would. We were supposed to. We were supposed to do because I talked to him at a session. He said that they were archiving all of these great old voice sessions that they had from some of the greats who would come in during the 60s and 70s, with Dawes Butler and all these great voiceover people, Fred Gwynn when he the voice tracks for the Herman Munster pull string doll. And he had all of these voiceover sessions. They just had them on tape. They would roll tape. And I said, Scott, you've got to archive all of those and put them up somewhere so people can hear this is history. You know, we were going to do a panel at San Diego Comic-Con and play some of these voice tracks for people to hear, like not so you could keep them, but so you could just hear these greats at work. Like, you know, Mel Blanc would come in. Hey, Mel, can you do a bunny? Can you do a deer? Can you do a bear? And he would go do all these characters. It was just magic. And all these archives just filled with all these tapes full of magic from these legendary voiceover performers. And I said, that's a hell of a San Diego Comic-Con panel. The thing will be packed to hear all these greats, to hear Fred Gwynn, you know, between the takes doing his Herman Munster, you know. And he said, yeah, it sounds a great idea. So I got the panel approved. And then at the last minute, he said, well, Mattel's probably not going to let us do that. I'm like, oh, man, what a drag.
Yeah.
So, but I wish they would. He said that their audio guy was digitizing all of those, and you know, for posterity. But where are they going to go? You know, we need to hear them. They need to be up on somewhere somehow so we can access them, because that's history in the making right there. Those are the legendary performers that we all grew up listening to, and who didn't have all those pull string dolls when they were kids? You know, listening to when you guys grew up, they had digital stuff, but back in the day,
we had the pull strings.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Well, the Pee Wee Herman doll, you probably had the pull string, but that was kind of purposely retro to harken back to the 60s when the pull string dolls. It was like basically a record player inside. It was a box with a little record, and you'd spin it, and as the string pulled back, it would actually play the record.
That's crazy.
And it would skip to the next track or whatever. It's crazy. And there are guys now who will take those old retro Mattel talking figures, and if the box inside is damaged, he knows how to, first of all, recondition the exterior of the figure to look brand new. And he also knows how to repair those boxes. He gets inside and fixes the little records and everything. It's really amazing. So pretty great. So yeah, God bless Scott Page Factor. So we all love him. So thanks.
We have another super chat question for you from Skyhound28.
Super chat, raise them up high.
It says, how is your approach to playing Psycho Blue different from other characters like the Muppet Animal and other characters that you've played?
Well, I played a teen animal on something called a CD-ROM. I always wanted to work for the Henson organization, and I make puppets, and I have loved Muppets since I was a kid. So I basically got to do Teen Kermit and Baby Kermit and Teen Animal for a CD-ROM called Toyland Train or something. This is back in the late 90s when CD-ROMs were still the thing.
I know. When you mentioned CD-ROMs, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Yeah.
So, but you know, animal is, you know, monosyllabic, and woman. But except when you do teen animal, it's like woman has to be higher, you know. And Kermit the Frog has to be a little higher than he normally is, because normally Kermit is down here. Hi, Kermit the Frog here. And but
my gosh, Wally.
The teen Kermit has to be up here. Hi, everybody. So, but it was a lot of fun, and I finally got to work for the Muppets, and I got to go over to the Henson Studios, which is the old A&M Records building. Which, as a old radio DJ, I loved A&M Records, loved Peter Frampton, loved Pablo Cruz, all of their acts. And before that, it was the Charlie Chaplin Studios. So that lot, full of history. Not only is Chaplin's ghost probably still walking around there, but I heard Karen Carpenter's ghost is still walking the hallways from the Carpenters. So there's just a lot of fun. So I'm like, I'm in Henson Studios, I'm in A&M Records. And we recorded actually in the studio where they did the video for We Are the World. Remember that? We Are the World. So they recorded in the A&M studio there. So it was just filled with all kinds of history. And though it was the Henson organization at the time, they still had a lot of the old A&M Records stickers, like mailing labels and stickers that they put on the front of the big 10-inch reels of tape on the boxes. So they said, yeah, we got plenty of this. Here, have some. So I'm like, wow, A&M Records stickers. So Psycho Blue is more, Animal's charmingly kind of rambunctious. Psycho Blue is just nuts and dangerous. So there's a danger element that had to be injected into the Psycho Blue that Animal doesn't have, because Animal's just kind of cute, but he's not really, he's harmless. He's not really dangerous. But Psycho Blue will destroy you, and Animal won't. But you know, Psycho Blue is just crazy psycho, where the Riddler in the Arkham games is more methodical. he wants to destroy you, but he wants to have fun while destroying you and kind of lead you on through a lot of methodology and a lot of traps and things that he has set. Psycho Blue just wants to bam and have you done with, which was great.
Can you
But
do a little sample of Psycho Blue?
Sure. Should I put my mask on?
Yeah, why not?
I think I just did a sample, but I'll let's see.
We want more, Wally. We want
more. Yeah. Usually if Psycho Blue didn't really even have that many lines. I only worked on the show for about 2 days.
Oh,
just
really?
Looping everything. And I did a bunch of voices of different characters and different things and different creatures. And yeah, he didn't really have that much to say, but he was one of the ones that I think he died second. He was the second one to actually die, and he never got to change into human form. Thank God. Because if he would have, it wouldn't have been me. It would have been some guy who put the suit on. But I think the thing that everybody loves is they all line up and they say, "I'm this. I'm this better than you. I'm this better than you." And Psycho Blue goes, "I'm smarter than you." So it's kind of fun.
That is a manic laugh. Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'll be in my trailer. See you later.
That's great.
It's like Beetlejuice and the Beatles are. That is why I want to do shows tonight anymore. I won't. I just want to do it. I won't. So yeah, it's.
Someone in the chat actually said, Does anyone else think Wally looks a little like Michael Keaton?
I do.
I see it.
Strange enough, you should mention that. I did actually. That kind of played into why I got the job as Beetlejuice at Universal Studios in the theme park for 4 years.
Oh.
Hey, come here. I got something good for you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, Liz, come here. We come for your daughter, Chuck. So, yeah. So the whole Beetlejuice. So we got to do
Beetlejuice.
So Beetlejuice. I actually put the makeup on and did the whole thing, and it was you guys have to come over because I have my Beetlejuice costume that I wore in the show actually on a life-size Beetlejuice mannequin in my house that talks. And he's not animatronic, but there's a voice chip and everything. Saying the word. Yeah, I hated myself.
Your expression.
Simpatico here.
They're exact. Exact. Oh my God.
And I put in the teeth, you know, I put in the buck teeth, and I had the, you know, but I would work. It took about an hour to an hour and a half to do the makeup every day. You know, they had a bald wig that we'd put on and glue on, and I lost a lot of weight because you wear a fat pad underneath and you're dancing and you do these 20-minute shows that are very physical. But I was, you know, in my 30s, so I was, you know, peak condition. But it was a lot of work, and I still have like a knee injury to this very day from working on that show. When it gets really moist out, like, you know, the last couple of days here, it's been raining. My knee goes, hello, remember me? Yeah, so there was a really quick turn in the Beetlejuice show where Beetlejuice appears in one doorway in one section of the song, and literally within 7.8 seconds later, he's got to be on the other. It's a visual gag. So they was understood that during this part of the show, the hallways backstage had to be completely clear because we had to do that fast turn. And as soon as that door shut, I was off like a rocket, and you're running through the hallway in order to get to the other door. So when the door shows up, you're like, you know, like, oh, Beetlejuice just popped over there. It was a really fast. Well, I took a quick turn and the shoe didn't kind of go with me, and I was like, and I went down and the door opened up and no Beetlejuice. So they called the show. The rest of the show had to be canceled because Beetlejuice hosted the show. And next thing you know, here's Beetlejuice being hauled out in a wheelchair to go to the infirmary to get some sort of.
Oh gosh!
Mommy, where is Beetlejuice in a wheelchair? So yeah, whatever. Sometimes those things happen to the ghosts with the most to go with the cool baby.
It's so fun, always so fun talking to voiceover actors, because you guys, all of you do this. You just go in and out of voices so quickly and so easily.
Yes.
Was this something you always did? Like as a child, did you play a lot with different characters? And
yes.
Yeah.
Much to the chagrin of my neighbors, who didn't quite in South Dakota understand why I was dressed up as a vampire in the middle of summer. That's for Halloween. That kid has to. What's the kid doing wearing a fangs and a cape in the middle of the summer? That's a Southern accent. That's not that I talk in South Dakota, but they didn't really understand some of the characters I would do as a kid, because I always wanted to do this stuff. But yeah, it's just something that you do as a kid. And actually, some of the first. Speaking of people who can click it on and off like a switch. Seth MacFarlane
Yeah.
is brilliant at doing that, because before he was directing Family Guy, we were all in the booth together just as actors, and it was being directed by a different guy. And we'd have the script there, and we'd do an ensemble read, and there'd be 4 or 5. Hello. There'd be 4 or 5 actors there. It'd be Seth MacFarlane, Seth Green. There'd be Patrick Bristow, and me, and we'd just be going through the pages. And Seth would go into Peter to Brian to Stewie to Peter to Brian to Quagmire to Stewie to Brian to Peter to. It was, it was pretty amazing to see. But that's how voice actors do. Frank Welker, the greatest living voice actor.
Yes.
Actually, our producer friend, Mark Evanier, who produced the Garfield show, says Frank is so good he can actually overlap himself. Where it's like, he can interrupt himself, like from one character to another character.
He
and interrupt.
does.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
does that. I met him at a convention. I didn't remember which one it was, but he was telling me that when he started voice acting at Hanna-Barbera, they would literally sit around a table and they would say, okay, we need a voice for this dog. His name's Scooby-Doo. And he'd go, he'd like come up, and then they'd say, okay, can you do a young man? And they would literally just go, he would go in and out. So he said he got very good at switching from voice to voice, but he does exactly what you're doing. He goes in and out, in and out, in and out. And it's so fun to talk to him, There's a brilliant guy who used to be on the radio named Phil Hendry, who I swear he's in a padded room these days, because he's just so insanely brilliant that he's probably mostly insane. But he actually does have these characters that he will talk to on the phone on his radio show. He'll be the host, and he'll go, next we have Margaret on the phone. Margaret, how are you? I'm good, Phil. So what are you doing today? I'm good. And he's really quick on the switch. He can, from the phone to the it's a hilarious show. And people will call in believing that this is a real person saying these outrageous things, but it's a comedy show. And it was some of the funniest stuff I'd ever heard on the radio. And occasionally he would be so quick with the voices, but his finger wasn't as quick on the button. So the character Phil, who's on the mic, would be in the phone now because he'd hit the wrong button. And it's like, and he'd make a joke of it. He'd say, "Oh, what am I doing on the phone? I don't know. Get out of here." Okay, I'm go. Okay, now I'm going to see. Okay. So it was just really hilarious. But that's what voice actors do, is their little multiple personality disorder. And it's like I've always said, I used to have voices in my head, but then I got them all jobs. So Jim Cummings said that too. He said he used to sit in class and talk to himself, and that he would annoy the teachers, like, because they would be like, stop it, because he would like practice all these different sounds. And he said, I really was like ADD, but it turned into these incredible characters now, and you can create such emotion in people just from the sound. Like, I think about his Winnie the Pooh. Like, when you hear that voice, it's like this comforting hug, and it's all in his voice. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's not nearly as annoying to the teachers as actually imitating the teachers. They hate that.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he did that too.
Mr. Mack always hated when, fellas, you've got to cut your toenails into little V's, fellas. Our health teacher and our gym teacher hated that. He hated being imitated.
Did you know as a child, when you were small, did you always know that you wanted to be a voiceover actor, or were there any other careers that you hoped to achieve?
From the age of 5, I knew I wanted to be an actor. And some people go through life, they go into their 30s and they still don't know what they want to do. I knew what I wanted to do from the age of about 5. I would look forward to Halloween every year, putting those costumes on, becoming another person. My first television, first of all, my first word was Popeye. I loved Popeye cartoons. And then I finally actually got to do Popeye for a CD-ROM. So I got to be Popeye and Wimpy. So that was kind of a full circle.
Oh, wow.
So, it says, I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Oh, Wimpy. Oh, get me my spinach. I am what I am. So so then I got into the Adam West Batman back when I was a kid. And I wanted to be Batman. So I was Batman. So I wanted to, talk like Adam West. So the thing that changed my life, and as actresses, you'll enjoy this. The thing that changed my life as a kid was I was about 5 years old. I watched a show called The Munsters. We talked about Herman Munster earlier. I watched a show called The Munsters. And there was a kid on there named Eddie Munster, who was the kid played by Butch Patrick. And I said, I'd like to do that. I'd like to put the makeup on my face, and I'd like to be on TV. And maybe I'll do that someday. And somebody said the thing that changed my life. They said, well, he gets paid to do that. You get to be on TV and you get paid? Sign me up. Yeah. So it was, I thought people just went on TV because they would volunteer to be on TV and they'd say, oh, you come on TV. It blew my mind that you could actually do this, have fun, get to dress up as other characters and make money at the same time. So when I moved out here in 1987 to Los Angeles, I did the on-camera thing for a while and really kind of fell out of love right away with the lack of creativity in the on-camera casting world. Because you would walk in and you could see on their face that they had immediately already made up their mind whether you're going to go to the next level or not. They hadn't even heard me read yet.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine had worked at a voiceover agent's office as an intern over the summer because he was the neighbor, his neighbor. And he says, you got to cut a tape. And I was a radio DJ at the time, cut a tape of voices and I'll take it in. I said, oh, well, voiceover, what's that? Well, that's, cartoons. It's all these things. I'm like, well, I love cartoons. I watched cartoons ever since I was a kid. My first word was Popeye. So I signed up, they had me come in and that was my first agent. Then I went to another agent. And I said, well, voiceover is really what I've kind of always wanted to do. I've always loved cartoons. I'm a cartoon historian. I'm a cartoonist and voice actor. So it's everything that I love and nothing that I don't love, like on camera, where they pull your hair and put crap all over your face and do things with your eyes and do things and make you stand for long periods of time and sit in a trailer for 8 hours before you even work. I'm sure you guys know that well. And I'm like, anytime I do an on-camera thing, I was like, oh, this will be really fun. And then the first day, I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? And then I come home after the long day and find out that I've missed out on 3 or 4 voiceover jobs for twice the money that I just made staying on a set all day. So I'm like, yeah, not so much into that anymore. But, it's fun and I'll do it, for friends and stuff if it's a nice kind of movie or TV thing or whatever. But yeah, my true love is voiceover. Yeah.
That's awesome. Great. All right, we have another question from one of our members.
Super chat, raise them up high. I am so sorry I missed the chat today. I'm crying. I'm sorry, Kenny. We saw your name on there, but for some reason it said your audio wasn't working. Hi, girls. My question is, how do you feel about the history of the Psycho Ranger, Wally?
Well, when they started out as young students in a baking school and through a horrible mishap with the dough making machine, they became psycho. Then they got these really cool costume. No.
I was like, baking?
Yeah.
I fell for that.
They really all wanted to be chefs, is what they really all wanted to be. And then something happened and they all went nuts. No, the thing about the history of the Psycho Rangers, you don't really know much about them, is they really don't have a history. They show up and they're gone before they really get to develop anything. They're basically constructed in such a way to where they have the powers of the Psycho Rangers and they can anticipate the Power Rangers' every move. And that's why the Power Rangers had problem defeating them because every time they do a move, the Psycho Rangers would be able to anticipate that because they were them to some extent. I feel that the Psycho Rangers got shortchanged, yes. Quite a bit in that they weren't developed more because obviously they had the coolest costumes of any of the villains, I thought. But I just wanted more, I wanted to see more of them and I wanted to hear more about how because one of my favorite Star Trek episodes was the Evil Kirk episode where there's 2 Captain Kirks. There's the wimpy Captain Kirk because he splits. And we realize that in our personas, we all have a good side and a bad side, but we can balance them as we go through life. But sometimes we have to be a little mean, but sometimes we have to be really nice. Well, he splits in the transporter and becomes wimpy, indecisive Kirk and then like evil Kirk. So I always liked that dual side of, the same coin thing. And it's like the Power Rangers, the do-gooders. Yeah, we're going to do this. But then here's the bad side that we're going to just obliterate you and we're going to rule everything. So I really wish they would have explored that a little bit more. It was a week and a half, job, maybe a couple of hours here and there. And I thought, whatever. And the fact that these characters still, after I think we did it in 1998 or whatever, it was 20 some odd years ago. The fact that these characters are still talked about in the lore and still loved and appreciated blows my mind because they weren't around enough, I felt, to really warrant that kind of support. But the fact that the characters were so cool, albeit brief, shows how cool they are, because now they have action figures and they have all kinds of stuff. And for characters that were barely on the show, they have all these action figures and things. This is
new ones.
Yeah, exactly. So that goes to show you just how cool those characters really were and how much they did relate to the fans. So yeah.
Okay, I missed a super chat.
We'll do that after this one. This one is from Katie Munier. Super chat. Raise them up high. Astronomer created you. What was it like working with Melody Perkins? I've always wanted to meet her. Her favorite episodes are Lost Galaxies, To the 10th Power, and Power of Pink.
The first time I ever met Melody was 2019 at Rangers Group.
Yeah.
She had filmed all of her stuff before, in voiceover, your post-production. It's everything has been edited and everything, and it's just, we go in and watch the film and then put our voice to the thing. So yes. I never met any of those people. Scott really was and Dave, the engineer, were really the only people I met. It was me alone in a booth with a microphone like I am here, watching the video and putting my voice to whatever the action is. And yes. Scott would say, no, that sucks, do it again. Or he'd say, yeah, that's great, let's move on. Give me one that's a little louder, give me one that's a little softer. And then they'd pick it, when they mixed it, which one they liked. And then after an hour and a half, I'd say, okay, see you later. All right, let's go eat lunch someday. Okay, bye. So I never really met any of the actors. I was never on the set.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would have been nice. But, the brief time we spent in Orlando at Ranger Stop was very, very wonderful. So she's very nice.
And Melody's lovely.
Yeah.
She's a sweet girl.
Was there also a suited ranger, or was the Blue Ranger always in suit, like with a helmet? Or was there someone that was, no?
There was never a face. They never had a human version of him. I said, he was the second one to die. I think Psycho Pink was the first one to die. Psycho Blue was the second one to die, and the rest of the three became human form.
Oh, I see.
So those were the actors that actually had to do the voices for the Psycho Rangers, knowing that they would have human counterparts later. Me, it was strictly voiceover because they knew you would never see Psycho Blue out of his costume.
Oh, right.
Out of his helmet, yeah. It was strictly voiceover only.
Got it.
Okay.
Like I said, if it would have been a face actor in Psycho Blue, I wouldn't be here today, because it wouldn't have been me. It'd have been some on-camera actor, that did the job, not a voiceover actor. So.
See what on here. He was about the 80s.
This is.
Oh, cool.
Remember again. I don't think it's a question.
No,
because it just says, yeah. So it's Ben.
Sorry.
That's okay. All right, we were trying to figure out the super chats here and try not to get confused, Mr. Wally. Okay, so we have another super chat from
Confusion. Welcome to my world.
Ben Hamilton, one of our channel members. Super chat, raise them up high. Sup, ladies?
Sup.
Saw Ethan and Trent from DT. What is DT? Detroit? DT?
Downtown. Yeah.
Okay. At my local Comic Con.
Yeah, Trent from downtown. Hey, what's up, baby? Trent from downtown. How you doing? All right.
I think they're Rangers from Dino Thunder.
Oh,
it's,
DT means Dino Thunder.
Yeah, it's Kevin and Jeff.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Good for you. Good on you.
I'm getting with the program here.
Yeah. Excellent. Now, I love those two. I've
awesome.
done a couple of cons with them before. So it's been very, very lovely. Another super chat. Super chat. Raise them up high.
Kenny.
I'm so sorry. I mean, their history in comics.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen any of the comics, so I'm not really, no comment.
No comment on the comics.
I'm so glad that you knew exactly what he was talking about, because for a moment I was like, what did he... See, you're on it. You're on it, Wally.
Well, he clarified the history of the history in the show. Of course, they didn't have much history in the show, but I think in the comics, from what I hear, because I've signed a few of them, they do go into their backstory a little bit more in the comics. So they are kind of expanding on the history of the Psycho Rangers in the comic book form, which they have now, time to do, because they have issues after issue after issue after issue. And they never had time to really explore that on the show. So I should probably bone up on my Psycho Rangers and probably figure out what their history really is. And maybe Psycho Blue does have a face underneath that mask. Who knows? Maybe
Or you can create it yourself, because we're always asked questions about, well, what is Tanya doing now? That was my character. Or how did Tanya feel during this time? There's so many unanswered questions. If you look at some of our episodes, there were things that we didn't even know. We were like, oh yeah, well, yeah, we'll roll with that one right there.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first audition? Your first voiceover audition?
First voiceover audition for Power Rangers or ever?
Ever.
Oh, yeah, I believe it was for some pretty good stuff. It was for the Batman animated series, and it was for Marvin the Martian, and it was for Ranger Smith on a Yogi Bear project. And I had gotten called back for those. Because I had gotten called back for yes, Marvin the Martian, the fauna and the flora. Oh yes.
Remember Marvin the Martian?
Yeah. And that's one of the few Mel Blanc voices I can actually do. I can do, hey Fred. I can do Bonnie Rubble. Hey Fred. Which I did actually for a Post cereal commercial last year for the happy almost a year ago. Because this is the 50th anniversary of Cocoa Pebbles and Fruity Pebbles. And then I auditioned for something else in the band. Anyway, so Ranger Smith. Yes. Well, Yogi, I see you and Boo Boo have come to the. You're in trouble again, Yogi. That Don Messick, great voice, which I loved Don Messick and Dawes Butler when I grew up. So, but those were some of the first. But I was such a pup. I was so new that I didn't really know what I was doing quite yet. So, yeah, I didn't really get those. But I got called back anyway, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, there was the first thing that I'd actually gotten was a thing on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as a lottery announcer, and that was pretty cool. And then I got a couple other things, some video games, something through LucasArts called Herc and the something like Young Hercules. And then I got a job on Murphy Brown, actually doing a puppet. Murphy Brown was a show in the 90s.
Yeah,
all my puppeteering experience and everything was helped in that. So that's how I actually got my Screen Actors Guild card. So it was that's a long time ago.
I got a Screen Actors Guild card from a voiceover job. That was my first union job.
Really?
It was a voiceover for a Pitfall Harry computer game. Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
Pitfall Harry.
Pitfall Harry. That was.
I thought you said Pitbull Harry, like.
It's just the super chats, just so that we could see where we're trying to line up the super chats. Where it just shows because on here. So we're using a different app, and sometimes it skips some of the questions. And we wanted to, like the last time that we had a live, we couldn't find some of the questions. We're about to be entertained. Go for it, Wally.
Oh, it's Cookie.
What's going on?
It's an interview.
Oh, can me talk?
No. You have to go back. There's a cookie in the kitchen.
Cookie in kitchen?
Yeah. If you go out there, there's a bag of Oreos that you can get if you want to, and crack them open. You can have.
Me have Oreo?
Yeah. You like Oreos, right?
Me love Oreo. America's favorite cookie. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Cookie Monster.
You were there first. Yeah. Oh boy. Hello. Hi, girls.
Hi.
Well, let me put my hand in so we can wave.
Oh, hi, Cookie.
Hello. Me happy to be here.
Best time of year for you, Cookie Monster. You can eat lots of Christmas cookies.
Oh, Christmas cookies. Oh, me love Christmas cookies. With the sugar on top and little frosting on top with little bells and little snowflakes. Yeah.
You like the snowflakes?
Me love snowflakes. But most of all, me love cookie underneath.
Me love Cookie too.
Oh, you love cookie?
Me love Cookie.
Oh, cookie. Yeah.
I like peanut butter and chocolate cookies. I think we're going to have to use this. They disappear
All right.
here.
All right, we're going to go on to the next question, Cookie. You're welcome to stay.
Oh, he went to crack open the Oreos.
Okay.
Oh, okay. The next question is from David Matchin, one of our platinum members. Super chat, raise him up high. He says, hi, Kat, Nakia, and Wally. Happy holidays. Wally, any tips, suggestions to get into voiceover other than acting classes?
Acting classes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's his
That's
tip.
my tip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than acting classes? No, acting classes. Remember, everybody, voice acting is acting.
Acting.
Yes. And you just have to do it with your voice. And you have to figure out a way, since they can't see your face, to communicate if you're on camera, like a, tilted eyebrow or a smirk. You have to figure out vocally how to do that, because you don't have your face to rely on for those sorts of things. So you have to come up with all sorts of interesting little vocal gymnastics to convey that, and let the animators kind of fill it in later. But voice acting is acting. You've got to be a really good actor.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it. The Bob Bergen has a great line where people always go to his classes and say, yes, people tell me I should be in voiceover because I have a very good voice. And he says, oh, yeah? Well, I got a really nice pencil. Should I be a writer? You have to have some sort of talent behind it. So acting, it's all about acting. And once you get your acting chops and you become a really, really good actor, then you can focus on voiceover in particular, mic technique, all the other things that go with the training and the discipline of being an actual voice actor. But you take those acting techniques that you've learned, and then you kind of funnel them into the world of voice acting. So voice acting and on-camera acting, two completely different things.
You were very fortunate because you said you did DJ work, so you were very familiar with the microphone and all of that before you went into voice acting.
Yeah, and editing and mixing and audio production as well. So
Right.
I could understand what was going on the other side of the glass, as far as pops or things are blowing out the VU meter. Because I would anticipate that. I'd say to the engineer, "This is going to be loud. You might want to watch this." As opposed to just going up to the mic and going, screaming, and then it blows the VU meter.
Yeah.
Anticipating that, saying, watch out, this is going to, and he'd thank you, but he'd back it down just a little bit, and then it'd be a scream of some sort. So yeah, it did give me kind of a second sight into what's going on the other side of the glass as well. But yeah, I learned all that when I was about 16, when I started commercial radio in the Midwest. So, I used to do, voices on my radio show, and I would do interviews with myself, and I would go into the studio and I would record the character, recording just the answers, and then I'd have it on what was called a cart, which was a loop that would stop, and then you play it, and then it would stop, and then would. So I could talk to Santa Claus, or I could talk to Darth Vader, or I could talk to Yoda, or whatever, and I would have all the
That's great.
responses ready to go. So, I interviewed Santa Claus many times, and I interviewed elves from Santa's workshop and the whole thing. So
that's cute.
Pretty exciting.
That's really cute. All right, next question is Katie Monier.
Super chat, raising my pie. Katie says, no, I'm going after Blue Ranger. First, no one tells me what to do. Oh, it's a line that she said. No, I'm going after the Blue Ranger. First, no one tells me what to do. Do you remember saying that?
They remember everything.
They
do. Yeah, we constantly get corrected because we'll say, "Oh yeah, that was that monster," and they're like, "No, Cat Nikia, it's not right. It's this." Yeah.
I did get some of those Psycho Ranger episodes given to me before a Ranger stop in 2019, just to kind of bone up on it, because it had been literally 20 some odd years, and I done a lot of stuff, and my memory ain't what it used to be. So I'm like, I better freshen up on some of this stuff. And people would come to the table and literally reenact these scenes letter perfect.
Yeah, it's
like,
amazing,
wow.
Isn't it? Amazing.
How come you didn't have this job?
Every line, every episode, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's humbling.
Yeah.
It is. Especially, you guys were on, how many seasons were you on with doing your characters?
You did
three and two.
Yeah, I was on a week and a half.
Yeah.
Psycho Blue was on, a week and a half, and then I got killed. It's amazing, when you have a track record like your guys' characters for season after season after season. I can understand that you have this huge following, but it blows my mind a bit that a character that only, characters, because the whole Psycho Ranger team, that were only on for a couple of weeks. Really, in the scheme of things, when you look at the enormity of the Power Rangers franchise, the Psycho Rangers were on just a blip, but they're so popular, and that really speaks to really how cool those characters are. Like I said, I felt they got shortchanged a little bit by maybe not being on more, but whatever. What do I know?
Yeah. They made an impact.
They sure did.
They made an impact.
Yep.
Next question is from Michael Valdivia, we've missed a question from him. Let's go back down. Sorry, hold on one second, Wally. Oh, Michael, it was in.
How you doing with those Oreos in there, Cookie?
Good. Me love cookies. Me love Oreos.
Okay. Don't eat them all. Save some for me.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry, Michael. I'm going to go back and find your question because it was on the other. It was on the chat, the live chat. It showed up. Okay, he says, I sent you ladies a 6-month membership super chat.
Oh,
Thank you, Michael.
yes, he's been our member for 6 months. Thank you, Michael.
Pink Wonder Power.
Super chat, raise them up high. Hi, Wally. Do you have any tips for voice actors that want to increase the types of characters in their portfolio without sounding the same?
Yeah, vocal exercises. Stretch those vocal cords. So you can do something way up here, and you can do something way down here. So it's just a matter of having all that range in the middle. I was blessed that with a fairly mediocre speaking voice, where I'm just kind of in the middle there. There's really no, because if it was too low or too high, I would just have that. I'd be stuck in those ranges. But because it's so kind of ordinary, I can stretch it and go into like the higher characters and go into the lower characters. And there's a lot of stuff that you can do when you practice, like experiment with sounds that your voice makes. This used to drive my parents nuts when I was a kid, doing all these crazy sounds. But when you yawn, you feel that openness in the back of your throat where it's really, well, you can use that as a voice and sound really kind of fun and slow. And if you kind of added a little lip movement to it and makes it sound kind of, hey guys, how are you? Pink Wonder Power, look at that over there. Are we having a fun day today in Los Angeles? And you could actually even give him like a little bit of a speech impediment. Are we having kind of a fun day here in Los Angeles? But it's kind of cold and rainy, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on an extra layer because it's really cold outside. But I love Christmas carolers.
That's so cute. I was just envisioning what he would look like.
It was so cute. I could like listen to that voice all day. I was like, oh, it's so soothing.
Well, that's another thing too, is you've got to be able to improv as these characters. Just make something up just out of the ether. And once you start talking, there was a character that I came up with named Filbert Hardaway, who actually ended up using that voice in Space Chimps.
Filbert Hardaway. Hello, my name is Filbert Hardaway.
And you can see how the physicality of your face slumps because you actually hear that on the read.
Hello, my name is Filbert Hardaway. I am here today to talk to you about buying health insurance. Do you have a health insurance at present? Okay. I'm sorry, I will not bother you anymore, but thank you for your time, and I will call you back when I want to talk to you about your car's maintenance plan. Thank you. Goodbye.
So it's a real bore.
Exactly right. Well, I figured that he has a comb over,
Totally, yeah, and it's very thin. It's
very thin, yeah.
With a lot of gel.
Right, a lot of gel. So, but that's exactly right. You just have to experiment with these characters, and sometimes even accents, even though the accent is kind of indiscernible where it actually comes from. You never know. Andy Kaufman, who we were talking about earlier, had a great non-discernible foreign accent, and he would go out as that character and just improv in life, just with people. Yeah. And I used to go to. It used to drive my girlfriend's nuts. When we'd go to Disneyland, I would pretend to be like a foreign visitor. I would take like the brochure, the thing. Excuse me, I went to see the parade. The parade, Disney parade. The parade. Yes, you want to see the parade? Yeah, I want to see the parade. Okay, well, it comes down Main Street. Yeah, Main Street. This Main Street. Yeah, this is Main Street. Okay.
Oh, that's so awesome.
What do you suppose? How you say? Time for parade? Oh, the parade of the time of the parade is 4:30, and these people would actually buy. And my girlfriend's be over there going, "Oh, good Lord!
Oh my gosh!
Can we get on with it?"
Yeah, they'd be like, "Stop it!" And I'm like, "But it's fun." Andy Kaufman used to call it theater of life. So when you can go out and just kind of improv as these characters, but that's another thing. Every voice actor that I know who does characters like Jim Cummings does, Frank Welker. They do these character voices, but they can improv as these characters for days. They can go off the script. They don't even need a script.
Yeah.
So if you're really going to develop a character well-rounded, it's nice to be able to see the 4, 5, 6 lines on the script, but can you talk like that character and stay in that character voice for an hour and just go through life? Clean your house. You get, oh, I see a little bit of dust under the banister there. I think I shall get to that later. But I should probably go to Staples and buy some sort of cleaning utensil to try and get that sussed out. But it's very dirty. It's just, because when you have animals, you have a cat and a dog. They're very dirty animals, and if you have to bathe them constantly, and the hair just gets every. As you see, there's just stream of consciousness.
Can you do an Australian accent, Wally? Do you know?
Of course, when I do an Australian accent, I have to add a little bit of a baritone to it because they're all, we're all very,
very good.
Macho over there, And it's I did a video game called Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, and those people were Australian, and they're like, "Oh my God!" So I would say, so when you say this, how do you, So they don't say. No.
She's Australian.
I'm
Australian. Oh, really? Oh, cool. I detected a little bit of an accent there, but they don't. But your English is very good. I dated an Australian stripper for quite a while. So I didn't care that she had a rockin' body, of course, and she was gorgeous. I just wanted to study her voice. That's really honestly the only reason I dated her.
That's so funny.
Right.
Of course.
Pinocchio.
Yeah.
But they don't say no. They say no. They say no.
No.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. So it was really interesting. Like now? No. No. So I'd say, hey, you want to go upstairs and fool around? Nah. And I thought, oh, now, okay, good. Now she's saying no. I'm like, she's saying no. I thought she said now. So complete misinterpretation. Anyway, so I'm sure you don't know that. But
okay, next question is from Skyhound. Super Chat, raise them up high. Do you have a favorite Muppets film since you did a few of the characters, like the Treasure Island one?
I love the Muppet movie because we had never seen the Muppets on big screen before. I just seen them on television, and to see those Muppets and knowing what I knew about their construction and how they were made with the seams and the fur and how they would disguise the seams and the fleece and to see them on the big screen and not be able to see any seams, I'm like, how the hell did they do that? And it was just, that first movie was just so groundbreaking, where they made Kermit the Frog ride a bike. Oh my God! How'd you make Kermit the Frog ride a bike? Yeah. And the amount of celebrities that they had in there, and just the way it was written, and it was delightful.
Yeah.
And the music was great. I saw that.
I really liked the latest Muppet movies with Ricky Gervais in them. I thought they were great. The newest ones. Yeah,
there's they're off and running, and it's great. The Muppets will never die. They'll be around forever. And but yeah, that's my favorite Muppet movie, the 1979 where Kermit's singing Rainbow Connection.
You can't go wrong with that. Come on.
How do you not cry seeing Kermit sing Rainbow Connection, for crying out loud? It's amazing. It's why are there so many songs about rainbows? What's on the other side? What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? And my hand has to do this when I do that because it's just kind of but read my lips, alligator, hilarious. Love that movie. I wish I had my Kermit here. I should have brought him down. But
we have one more question left for you.
Only one?
Only one. Only one. And
Come on, guys. Let's go. More questions. Let's go.
Super Chat, raise them up high. What was your favorite episode as Psycho Blue?
The one where I didn't die.
Word to that one, yes.
I think the one where he actually turned into the really huge monster. That was pretty cool because he turned into like some sort of supercharged thing, as I remember, and he was really I'm not that up on the Power Rangers as I should be, but I do remember that he did grow in size to some sort of thing. And I thought that was pretty cool, but he got blown up. He got blowed up.
He got blowed up.
He got blowed up, as they
I
say.
was going to find Michael's question from earlier, if I can find it, because I want to make sure that we answered that for him. But now I'm not seeing it.
It would have been in the super chat.
Yeah, it's so weird. It said, hi, Kat and Nakia. It was a whole question. Oh, wow.
Quick question for you. What are you working on today, Wally, that you can share with us?
Nothing. I can't share nothing. I'm trying to go through all the NDAs in my mind. It's like, can I talk about that yet? Can I talk about that yet? Can I talk about that yet? There's a thing in this industry now with certainly the advent of social media. We call NDAs. Well, I'm sure you guys are familiar.
Yeah.
Non-disclosure agreements. And you have to sign these things. And if you violate one little thing in there, they get you. So there's all kinds of exciting stuff. Nothing of which I can talk about. Oh, well, Call of Duty Vanguard just came out, and I'm a character called Nordicus in there. Nordicus the Conqueror. Yes, my soldiers of Nordicus. So that's kind of fun. And that I can
Naruto as well. Naruto is a very popular anime show.
I was only on a few of those, but I was on Bleach a lot. Bleach was the one where I was Renji Ibarai a lot. And
do you know Johnny?
What's that?
Johnny Bosch? Have you?
Oh, sure. We did a signing in June together. It was hilarious. It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, I want to do more signings with him because so many people wanted, Renji and Ichigo together on certain toys, and then they'd also bring Power Ranger stuff. So they'd have this Psycho Blue. So they have a Power Ranger book. They can get Johnny to sign this page and me to sign that page. So yeah, it's great. So we go way back. I don't get to see him as often as I would like. But maybe when all this craziness is over, we'll get out and do some more signings together because we had a lot of fun in Orange County in, I think it was June. So, yeah.
June of last year?
June of 2021. Yeah.
Oh.
They dropped the mask mandate here for about a month in LA. And so I'm like, great, I'm going out. We're doing stuff. So they had it was an in-store down in Orange County at a store called Fat Collectibles.
Fat Collectibles.
Yeah. So we were down there and had a great time. And then, they shut everything down again. I was like, man, I'm going to sit there. Sitting there wearing a mask trying to talk to people is just not my thing. So
as a voiceover actor, I'm sure it's very challenging for you to be covered like
that.
Yeah,
go ahead and take away my best attribute, my voice and my conversational ability with these people. Because these people really do want to ask questions and talk. And they come up and they go, and I'd be like, what?
There's other states though that you can go to that there's no mask mandate, and there's conventions. A lot of conventions have opened up now. So
if they send a private jet where I don't have to wear a mask for 8 hours, brilliant.
Yeah.
Otherwise, sitting on a plane for 8 hours, because I don't know how people do it. I really don't. I can't do it. But and the minute they drop that, I am off and running because I told my friend Mark, who went with me to Orlando in 2019. I said, this is great. I love these people. I love meeting these people. I love getting out. I love doing this stuff. I love seeing everything. I want to do more of this. The year 2020, I'm going to tour like crazy. I'm going to go out and this is going to be great. Then, of course, everything got shut down. But I was ready to go. I was ready to get out there and go to this convention, because I'm finally at a place in my career where I'm like, okay, well, now I have some characters. I have a catalog of characters that now it makes sense for me to go out and meet these people. Yes. I didn't want it to be too premature where I'm like had one or two characters. I'm like, because you see those guys with one character and you're like, really? You're out signing pictures? You got one character. So
some of them do great.
Yeah, but I wanted to have a huge catalog of characters to be able to spread photos all over the table and go, yes, I was him. But then everything melted down. But in LA, if you fly through LAX. You have to go in wearing a mask to the airport and then sit there wait for your flight. That's 2 hours. Then another 4 hours on the flight, and then a layover of 2 hours. And you can never take this thing off. And I'm like,
you can take it off if you go inside of a restaurant in LAX. Sit there in the restaurant until it's time for you to go on the gate. You can take it off.
Yeah, that's the irony. Is you can sit in a restaurant but you get up and you walk 5 steps and you have to put it on. It's kind of silly, but
yeah. You know what? I'll wait. I'll wait. I get better with age, like wine,
Yes.
I'll get out there one of these days when everything is normal again, and I look forward to seeing everybody. But I can't sit on a plane and wear a mask. I'm sorry, I just can't do it.
It's a lot.
Yeah, even though if there are places where I can go where they don't have that, I'm there. but I just can't communicate with.
I get it.
It's like trying to run a marathon with a ball and chain on your ankle. It's like
it's hard for me because I've realized that you read so much from people from their face, and it's very unsettling to only see their eyes. So you don't know if they're smiling or if they're angry, or it makes me anxious actually. So when
that's why I got this. That's why I got this name. I'm always happy.
I love it. You're always smiling.
And this is how I'll look with no teeth when I'm old someday. But,
oh my gosh, I love it.
We do have one last question that came in.
No last question. No last question. We got another 2 hours to go. Come on.
Oh no,
I gotta go pick up my kids, Wally.
Well, actually, it is.
That's what Uber's for. Come on. Have them take an Uber.
Kitty Munier said, but you guys were brought back in Lost Galaxy by Deviant.
There you go.
So I don't know if your character was brought back.
But the Psycho
Rangers were brought back. Maybe it was the 3 that you were talking about.
Maybe
that did the human form.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even know.
Someone told me they found what Michael said. They just copied it for me. They said, Michael asked, "What was your favorite character and why to voice?"
Oh, ever?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like saying, how many kids do you have, Kat?
2.
Which one's your favorite?
I have my favorite girl and my favorite boy.
Okay, well, that's clever. Yeah, it's kind of like asking what's your favorite kid. I love John Arbuckle from the Garfield show because he's very much close to my voice. Hey, Garfield. And he's like how I talk to my pets. Hey, you want to go outside? Okay. Do you want some lasagna? Here we go. He's always like, shucky darn, here we go. This is going to be really fun. But I also love the Riddler. Well, Batman, you cowled clod, it is I, the Riddler, your intellectual superior. Which is really funny because when somebody asked me to come up and sign something that said I'm smarter than you, I immediately thought that it was the Riddler because the Riddler says that. Yes, Batman, I'm smarter than you. But I also said it as
sarcastic.
I also said it as
say that too.
Yes.
I also said it as Psycho Blue.
Yeah.
I'm smarter than you. So I was like, smarter than you. Did I say that as 2 different characters? It blew my mind. It's fantastic. But my favorite job had to be working with Jay Leno on The Tonight Show for 4.5 years as the announcer, which was an amazing group of people, an amazing show, an amazing opportunity. I was only the 7th full-time Tonight Show announcer in the history of the show. Wow. I was the only guy to ever do it as a voiceover only, like Don Pardo from Saturday Night Live used to do. And I was very proud of that, and it was a lot of fun. So, yeah, it's probably a tie between John Arbuckle and the Riddler with the Tonight Show thrown in. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wally, thank you so much. I could talk to you for 10 hours. I love hearing all these voices.
I got more tea. Let's go. Let's do it.
He's like, I'm on a caffeine high.
I'm going to call you when I'm having a hard day and be like, I need a voice that sounds joyful today, please.
We can go back to this guy if you want. We can talk to you all day and say, hey, who are your kids? Tell me about your kids. What grade they're in the end? Because I was in school once too. I made it up to 3rd grade, but I had to go because I had to work on the farm. I had to go work on the farm, and that was really fun. But I never passed to the 3rd grade, but I'm still pretty smart and intellectual, despite the fact that I only made it through 3rd grade. But yeah, I'm smart because I have street smarts. That's what I have. Yeah.
Yes.
So okay.
How old are your kids?
Thank you. 15 and 13. She has men. She's got a 21 and 18-year-old.
How are you guys old enough to have? What did you have them when you were 4?
Oh,
that's so sweet.
Darling.
Oh, my darling, that's so sweet of you to say. But we're both 47 years old.
You're both what?
47.
Get out of here with your bad
selves. We are.
Now I just turned into another character. Get out of here with your bad selves. I don't believe you guys were thinking you're 47 years old. You're 27 if you're a day.
That is Doris's uncle. I played a character named Doris on a show, and she talks like this, and she's a smoker. And you just feel like you could be like my uncle or my relative or something. Yeah.
So here's Doris's uncle with a couple of cigars. You guys are not 47. I'm not believing it for a second. Get out. I want to see your IDs. I know you say you're 47 when you go into the store to buy booze. I don't even think you're over 21. That's what I think. That's after a couple of cigars. But hey, while you're there, pick me up a pack of smokes, all right? If you got the fake ID that will allow you to buy the alcohol.
Maybe
So yeah.
Doris can call him.
Oh, that would be so funny. He's so funny. Oh, he's always cracking jokes. He is. He's a cracker joker. That's what he is, a cracker joker.
So that was I'm sorry, but all the jokes I know are dirty and probably not appropriate for this audience. So I won't go into any jokes, but the invite to come visit Planet Wallywood stands. So bring your kids over. I'm sure there's all kinds of crazy stuff they'll like here. Every room in my house is set up like a museum. It's got kind of stuff. I just love having stuff. Oh, and by the way, before I go to this is a 13-story series for the holidays I wrote called Donnie Druthers Christoween Capers. If you like your Christmas stories monster flavored. It's a 13-story series on Christoween.net. This is the sample art, so there's a lot of stuff. There's about a weird.
So talented. You do so much.
Oh,
you
thanks.
Draw, you write, you voice, you act.
It's thank you. It's a weird little kid who created the hybrid of Halloween and Christmas.
I love that.
For a class project. So Christoween.net, net like the kind you throw over a werewolf. And there's a new story that gets uploaded every Saturday at 1:13 in the afternoon. And we started October 2nd. We only have 2 more weeks to go before the story series completes. So we have this coming Saturday, which will be the 18th, which will be story 12. And then on Christmas Day, you'll get the final chapter, chapter 13. So
it's Christoween.net.
Yeah, exactly. It's CHRISTOWEEN.net.
We will put it on this. We will put it on this video so that people can click it and go.
Oh, cool! Yeah, it's a lot of fun. They're all told in Dr. Seuss rhyme scheme, so it's all very Christmassy, and it's the kind of thing where you want to put a knit cap on and sit by the fire and have a cup of hot chocolate, like Frankenstein. So Frankenstein saves Christmas in the very first story because Santa's ill and he says, "Hey, Frankie, can you sub for me?" But Frankie's worried that, the kids might see him dropping gifts off and get scared and think that Santa's hideous and big. But the one kid that happens to see him is Donnie, our kid, and he loves Frankenstein. So they become friends. And then later in the other stories, Frankie brings his bride, to introduce him to Donnie. Frankie meets a mummy who becomes a rapping rapper. So he's rapped, but he raps gifts because he can rap, but he's a rapper.
But he's a rapper. That's perfect.
And he becomes a huge international celebrity. So there's a weredeer who is one of Santa's reindeer. Blitzen during a full moon turns into a weredeer, but he's not like a werewolf. He's like one of the wolfy guys that you'd see in a bar trying to pick up girls. Hey baby, what's your side? Leo's mine. That kind of thing. So it's a lot of fun, and they're the creature of the deep, which is kind of like a creature from the Black Lagoon. Donnie meets him and finds out that he's allergic to seafood. And, creature of the deep, he's got to eat pudding. That's the only thing he can eat. He's allergic to seafood. He hates being allergic to seafood because he swims around the sea all day. So they have to get Santa Claus involved, and there's a Christoween wish involved, and there's a certain catch to the Christoween wish. So Donnie's like, do I want to give up my Christoween wish to let the creature eat seafood, and then I don't get anything? So it talks about sacrifice and that kind of thing. So they're actually written for adult monster kids who love that kind of stuff, who love the nostalgia of a rhyming Seussian type of story. And if they want to share it with their kids, that's fine. And I'll be at, if you're in Los Angeles, Season Screamings in Pasadena this weekend, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a horror-themed Christmas convention. And I'll have my Christoween stuff there. I'll have T-shirts and ornaments and beanies and all kinds of Christoween stuff. And just spreading the legend of Christoween. So very exciting.
Wally, thank you.
Thank you so much, Wally. We appreciate you. Yes. Thank you so much. And we'll make sure all this information for you guys if you want to check out Christoween.net.
Yes, we'll put it underneath this video. You have a wonderful Christmas if you celebrate Christmas and New Year's and Hanukkah and all of the festive.
It's all good. But yeah, it's like, woo!
Yeah. That is why I don't do 2 shows a night anymore. I won't do it.
All right, but you guys got to come over for a tour.
I would love to.
Me too. That sounds fun.
Sign my Wally Wall of Fame. I've had a lot of celebrities over here that have all signed my Cheney room. Lon Chaney is one of my favorite silent actors. He became the Phantom of the Opera, and he became the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and all these different characters. So I have a Cheney room dedicated to him, but it's like a wax museum now. But I have a lot of celebrity autographs in there. So if you guys want to come over and sign my Wally Wall of Fame, that'd be really cool. And I'll show you. I have 12 Muppet replicas, and I like to put them on and perform and do little shows for you. So it was always fun. So bring the kids, bring the family. Come on down.
0175, third time's the charm. Don't say the B word.
So anyway, there you go.
Thank you, Wally.
Thank you, Wally.
All right, see you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Power Rangers forever. Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Yes.
That was so much fun. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And we'll be putting all the information about Wally's projects in the chat here below our video. This is our last live of 2021.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
This super chat came through just
Oh.
now.
Oh,
And
dear.
it just said,
Uh-oh. Hi.
It disappeared. Said something about thanking. It was thanking.
There
There
it is.
Thanks for your words of wisdom regarding voice acting. Listening to you talk about it with the greatest rangers of all time is inspirational. Sandrock.
Aw,
Aw.
thank you so much. Thank you. So last live of the year, and we'll be back in January. We have some other amazing guests for you in January. So please have a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa,
Happy
happy everything. Happy.
Bye. All right.